Good morning, Joe. This is my group's presentation for our BACC CA2. We will be presenting in the following order, starting off with me, then Mirabelle, followed by Chuan, and ending with Jonasta. I will be explaining about how source documents are translated to business transactions. Firstly, when other companies buy our company's inventory, they will issue an invoice to us. In this invoice, there will be a date written, and this will be the date where we record down our general journal entry. In this case, it is 20th March 2021. From the invoice, we can see that Augusta Pty Ltd has bought 21 computers from us amounting to $30,000. We record it down as cash, debit $30,000, and sales revenue, credit $30,000. There is a stamp with the cost of goods sold written as $21,000. Thus, this will be translated into the general journal entry as cost of sales, debit $21,000, and inventory credit $21,000. When companies buy our inventory, they will sometimes pay by cash or on credit. To differentiate between the two, we look at the statement below the date. On 20th March, the company pays us by cash, as can be seen from the cash sales slip. Therefore, we record down the account as cash in the general journal. If it states payment 30 days, like the one shown here, it means that the company paid us on credit, and thus we record the account as accounts receivable in the general journal. So everything will be the same except for this account. Of course, if the company pays us on 17 March, we also need to change the date to 17 March. Secondly, when prepaying fire insurance to CB Life Insurance Pty Ltd, our company issued them a payment voucher. This voucher shows our company paying a total of fire insurance money of $4,500. Therefore, it is translated as prepaid insurance, debit $4,500, and cash credit $4,500 in the general journal. Since it was paid on 1st March, the general journal entry date will also be written as 1st March. When adjusting our journal entries, we must record down the amount paid off for the end of the month. This payment is considered prepaid insurance because of this statement. Payable annually in advance for fire insurance policy. It states that the total of $4,500 is actually the accumulated amount of paying $300 per month. Hence, at the end of March, we record down insurance expense, debit $300, and prepaid insurance credit $300 in the general journal. Thank you.
Thank you, Clarice. Now we presented to you the two accounting concepts that we used in our project. So the two concepts are the accrual concept and the double entry accounting concept. So the accrual concept is 1. Revenue is only reported in the profit or loss statement when it is earned. 2. When a product or service is provided first and the customer will pay for it at a later time. And 3. Expenses incurred are recorded even if no cash was being paid for it. We applied this concept by taking note of any accrued expenses and revenue, prepaid expenses, and unearned revenue, and making sure we will do the adjusting entries at the end of the month. In this slide, we have accrued expenses. On the right-hand side, there is a screenshot of an email regarding the company phase not paying their staff. This translates into accrued expenses, as the expenses have been incurred but have not been paid. Next, we have accrued revenue. On the right is a screenshot of another email regarding consultancy services being provided, but the cash has not been billed yet. This translates to accrued revenue, as the service has been provided but the cash has not been received. Prepaid expenses. On the right, we have the source document for prepaid fire insurance. This means we paid for service in advance, but it will only incur in the future. Lastly, unearned revenue. On the right is the source document for 3 months rental from another company. Cash was paid in advance for the service provided, hence it is recorded as unearned rent revenue. And as mentioned earlier, we will do our adjusting entries for the end of the month for accrued expenses, revenue, unearned revenue, and prepaid expenses. For our next accounting concept, we have the double entry accounting concept, when in all transactions there are two effects. These two effects are called debit and credit. And in these transactions, the debit entry and the credit entry must be the same. Here on the right are some of our journal entries. As you can see in the box, the cash account has $125,000 in the debit account, while the ordinary share capital account has $125,000 in credit. With that, I'll be passing my time to Chuan, who will be talking about the usefulness of the ABSS accounting software.
The first reason why ABSS is useful is because it has already prepared a list of accounts for you, and all of them are categorized in different categories. For example, the cash is categorized under the asset category, and you don't have to enter all the accounts one by one. However, if you didn't manage to find the account you want in the list, you can always add in a new account. For example, in this case, I can add in a new account and choose category, and I will choose other current asset, enter a random number. Okay, then you have a new account there, and you can always edit the name of the new account. For example, I use vehicle. Okay, and now you have a new account to use, and not only you can use it in the opening balance, you can also use it in journal entry. And let me show you. In this case, you just have to select the vehicle, and yeah, you can do journal entry now. And the second reason why ABSS is useful is because it records journal entry in chronological order. For example, the date is 3rd of March 2021, and we buy infantry, which is debit infantry, $22,000. Then credit cash, $22,000, and record. And now you can find the journal entry in the journal, and as you can see, it's right here. It is after the 1st of March and before the 4th of March. So ABSS arrange all the journal entries chronologically, like for you. Last reason why ABSS is useful is because ABSS computes the trial balance automatically for you, and it generates the report of trial balance. Okay, and this is the report of trial balance. And as we all know, calculating trial balance can be a tedious process, and most importantly, it reduces the chance of people making calculation error, since all the calculation were done by computers. And that's all.
Okay, so moving on, the two key areas that the ABSS software can actually improve on would be their user experience in terms of navigation as well as their space utilization. So firstly, I'll be touching on how the ABSS software can actually improve on their navigation. So what our group constantly faced as an issue would be the fact that most of the functions that we wanted to use were clustered together in tabs, without explanation of which tab leads to which function. For example, I'll be showing you the steps to arrive at the page to edit my accounts list. So to arrive at that page, users have to actually go through a tedious process of clicking on the Easy Setup Assistant from the Setup tab, and then clicking on the Accounts tab and press Next after arriving at the welcome page. Though this may seem easy for many experienced users, my group and I actually found it hard to navigate through this software. Instead of having users click on multiple tabs, the software could actually improve users' experience in terms of navigation, especially for newcomers, by providing a direct button to a specific function. In addition, the developers of this software could also release a short but detailed tutorial on how to navigate through the app seamlessly. Next up, I'll be touching on the utilization of space in the ABSS software. So as you can see, I've actually placed screenshots of the pages showing the transaction journal as well as the accounts list. It is extremely visible that both the transaction journal as well as the accounts list took up only about 1/3 of the entire page. So when comparing with two other softwares that I've actually found, you can clearly notice the difference in the utilization of space. So why is this important, you may ask? Well, the per utilization of space actually reduced productivity. So when my group and I were actually using this software for our CA2 project, we realized that we needed to constantly check between the accounts list and the transaction journal. Hence, the need to go in and out of different tabs to access the accounts list and transaction journal often slowed us down. Therefore, one suggestion for ABSS to improve on their space utilization would be to perhaps combine both these functions into one single page. Here would be an image of ABSS per utilization of space compared to how they could utilize their space by combining accounts list and transaction journal into one single page. Such bundling of functions can also be adopted throughout the different tabs in the software, which will allow better space utilization throughout the app, increasing productivity of the users at the same time. So that's it for my